Hey, how we doing, guys? Welcome to my vlog. I recently uploaded one, was it yesterday or the day before? But somehow I trimmed it down and cut off all the juicy bits. So rather than re-uploading it, I thought I'd just take the main topic of that vlog and just redo it. Now, in this vlog, I'm going to talk about logbooks. Now, this is something which I've overlooked a lot over the years and never really found any use for it for myself. I know there's been many people who have used them for many years and found a great deal of use for them and found them essential for their progress. A lot of people use them for constant progressive overload, and this is something which I've never really believed in. I didn't think that you have to have constant progressive overload to grow muscle. I've always found that my main focus is just on stimulating the muscle, not creating a pattern within my logbook, not trying to match up numbers, but like I said, just solely focusing on stimulating the muscle. Because I like to train with a bit of freedom. So when I go to a gym or different gyms, I like to try different machines, but I do like to make sure I target certain muscle groups. So if I want to do my lats, maybe one day I'll pick one machine, and another day I'll use a different machine. Or if I go to a different gym, then it's a different stimulus. Now that doesn't mean that you can't grow your lats because you're using different machines or different tools such as like a dumbbell, a cable, etc. I've been listening to quite a bit of JP recently and listening to his interviews. He seems to have been on a few podcasts. And I think it was the Revive Stronger one and the Global Muscle Radio one on MD. Now on that one, Giles asked him about constant progressive overload because JP, Jordan Peters, he was a huge advocate of this, and he created helped to create this big wave, this big almost cult of constant progressive overload. Like loads of people were just literally, this is what you need to do. You get your logbook and you do the same exercises for a period of time, for a mental cycle, and you just want to keep pushing the numbers, keep increasing the numbers, whether it's reps or weight, and by getting stronger, you're going to build more muscle. So when Jordan Peters turned around and said, basically, he don't really believe in that anymore because there's more to building muscle. Talking about internal stimulus such as actually recruiting the muscle, which can't always be done as effectively by when you actually increase the weight.
You believe in constant progressive overload, don't you?
My viewpoints have changed.
Okay, because I remember you telling me this, and I was thinking, I've had an argument with someone, people on forums before, and they were saying, you can constantly progressively overload. And I said, no, but there becomes a point when form starts to suffer and you maybe risk injuries and you can't literally get any stronger.
Initially, I did believe that.
Right.
Because my perspective was, okay, so I'm not as strong as Eddie Hall, so I'm going to keep going until I am.
Okay.
That was kind of my perspective. But then what I realized was that external stimulus, so weight on the bar, doesn't always equate to internal stimulus, i.e. muscle recruitment.
Yeah.
And then it's about finding a happy medium between the two. So really, we want to always be increasing our internal stimulus. Does that mean more weight on the bar? Probably at some point, yes. But we need to be constantly addressing, is our form good enough to allow that external stimulus to increase internal stimulus?
Yeah.
And that's probably been one of the biggest turning points in regards to the way I view training. So yes, you do need to be getting stronger, but you have to be so accurate in the way that you go about that.
Yeah. So how do you train now then?
Very much the same as I did before.
Yeah. But is it plateaued in terms of poundages?
Yes,
Right.
because now I am not thinking, let's move this weight from A to B.
Yeah.
I am now thinking, let's contract my muscles as hard as I can against this weight.
Yeah.
And that's what's allowed me to keep getting bigger, because I had to take a step back with my loading at some point because it was much harder to just contract muscles. But then after a period of time, I've got back to as strong as I was, but with perfect contractions. And then that has then just allowed me to keep getting stronger.
So now this is things which I've been seeing for a long time. It is more than just adding more weight. I've been saying it for years. And when he says it, obviously he's got a lot more clout than me, and hopefully people start listening to his advice. Because if I say it doesn't mean much, you know, it don't carry much weight. I'm just Theo, the natural bodybuilder. Not many people know who I am, but I have certainly got great results from not using a logbook and not doing constant progressive overload. It isn't essential. It can be useful, and you can get results from doing that. I will never say that you can't get results from doing something, because there's always lots of different ways of achieving the same goal. Saying that about logbooks, saying that, like, I didn't find them useful. Recently, you know, I've noticed that I've been training just a little bit longer than usual, and I'm thinking, why is that? What's going on? What am I doing different? And I thought, in order to see this, I'm actually going to use a logbook, not for constant progressive overload, but to actually track my reps and sets and see what kind of routine I have and how much volume I'm doing, and you know, and just see how I'm moving up throughout the sets in terms of the weight progression, like throughout that specific workout. And that's a great thing about a logbook. It is very good for data collection, and you can look back on it and see like, well, you can pretty much note anything down, how you're feeling on the day, how many meals you've had, if you've done cardio, if you've had a busy morning, anything like that, you know, any niggles, whatever. So just jotting down all the relevant information, or information which you feel will be relevant, like in the future, and so you can refer back on. That's a great thing. So that's what I've been doing over the past, well, since yesterday, and already I found it useful, because like even today I was doing back, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna cut down these warm-up sets, because like even in the past I've got a tendency to just do a load of sets building up to like the top sets. So I thought, is this really necessary for all the exercises? Maybe not. And today I had a great session. It was a hard session, but I just kind of like made bigger jumps in the beginning, got to the top sets a lot quicker, and just worked my ass off during them top sets. Now, the thing is, coming back to JP, since he's got like a big cult following, what you get is a lot of other coaches and social media guys just like literally regurgitating his information, and you know, there's such fans of his, and so anything what he says, it's like they're gonna say it as well. And this isn't aimed at anyone directly. This is like from what I've seen, fucking like all over social media. So he'll say something, and then lots of people start saying it. Now for me, it doesn't. When somebody else says it, it doesn't really hold much substance, because you know, they've not lived it, they've not experienced it. They're just kind of got the information from someone else and just repeating that information. Now for me, if you find some information which you think is actually relevant and can be useful, you know, before you go and start, you know, telling people about, like, you can give people a little bit of advice about it and say, and make them aware of it. But when you say, yeah, this is what you need to do, that's what you need to do, when you've not even practiced it yourself for you know, a duration long enough to actually see the benefits, then, you know, it, like I said, it don't hold much substance. It's not, you know, it's just, you just pass on information which is not even yours. So that's one thing which I don't like, even when it comes to supplements. For a long time, like, people ask for supplements. If I've never used a certain supplement, a certain brand, you know, I will never say, yeah, you need to use this or you need to do that. I say, I've used X, Y, and Z, but I've heard this one is good. I've never used it myself, but you know, you could give it a try, and it might be suitable for you. And if anything, just tell me how it goes. And that's how I deliver information. One thing which I am very happy to see though on social media is, you know, anecdotal evidence is becoming a little bit more acceptable, and people are starting to understand that, you know, people's experiences that actually do matter and do hold some weight. Like, coming back to the interview with JP, he was saying about research. He said no one has even tested like like done research on a guy, like his size, his strength. So anything that's been done on other people, it can't really relate to a guy like him. Even with like his not even just physical stuff, but like mentally, like the mindset of someone who's like elite, who's got like elite mindset. I was even listening to Eric Helm's podcast recently, or last few months in fact, and he was talking about the amount of research that gets done like for bodybuilding. He said it's just not enough. He said there's not enough funding that goes into it, so you know there's a lot of flaws, a lot of holes within this research, like compared to other industries which get pumped with millions and millions of pounds. You know, bodybuilding isn't like that. So it's just a few guys like doing their little bits, and you know the testing, it's not got the like the longevity needed. So you know it's like short term stuff, but over time hopefully this gets better. Hopefully more funding gets put into it, and hopefully they start testing more elite people over a longer period of time, but obviously it takes time to do that. Now I'm just going to wrap the vlog up here because that's what I want to talk about. Let me know your opinions on logbooking, and whether you find it's useful, even with like anecdotal evidence, anything like that. Please leave your comments, share, like, and thanks for watching guys. Take care. Peace.